One of the mistakes that I did was I tried to do everything on my own. So I told myself na kaya ko tong gawin, ako lang mag-isa. Sabi nga nila, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with a team.
Thank you so much for joining me here on my podcast today. It's an honor for me to have you here, sir. So, can you tell us something about yourself, what you do, and where you're from?
All right. So hello to everyone who is listening today. And thank you for inviting me. It's such an honor to be invited to share my story dito sa podcast mo. And to our listeners, I'm Fitz Villafuerte. That's Fitz, Fitz Villafuerte. And I'm a registered financial planner. So it's a relatively new profession, I would say, in the country. Most people know of financial advisors, and the difference of being a registered financial planner is that we're more like doctors, where people approach us for a financial consultation. So we get paid for the consultation. And just like doctors, we give you a prescription. In our case, we give you a financial plan of what you need to do, where do you need to invest, if you need insurance, what type of insurance do you need. But it's up to you where you would buy them or where you would put your money. Unlike the more familiar na financial advisors, free yung financial consultation or financial advice, but they would upsell you with the product. So nothing wrong with either case. It's really a matter of preference. And I am based in NCR. I'm I currently live in Parañaque, and my parents are originally from Mindoro and Bulacan. So Tagalog talaga ang language ko. Both provinces, the languages there are Tagalog. So yeah, I guess that's me. I wear a lot of hats aside from being a registered financial planner. It depends kung sino yung kausap ko. Um, Sometimes I tell people that I am a content creator, a blogger. Sometimes I tell people I am an entrepreneur because I have offline and online businesses. But primarily, just to make things simple, I tell people that I am a registered financial planner. I work in the financial industry. Yeah, that's it.
Mhm. Such a good portfolio, no, sir? Pero ever since I started working from home, nandun ka na eh, nasa scene ka na. So, how long have you started working from home? Like when was it really like yung unang sabak nyo po na hindi sa financial planning?
Mm-mm. Well, I am a civil engineering graduate. So the plan was to become an engineer, to work as an engineer. And when I graduated, I worked for a construction firm. So I worked in the corporate world for 5 years, but in 2003, 2004, I resigned because I wanted to explore being a freelancer. Aside from the fact that I felt na hindi para sa akin ang office work.
Mhm.
Marami akong memo noon na late pumasok sa office. So I think, yeah, that was one of the first reasons that I felt na I might not be cut out for the corporate world because I am not really comfortable with being in the office from, I remember, 7 to 5. That was our
Mhm.
office hours. One of the reasons that got me excited to take up engineering because in college, I had this imagination, or I had this vision na I will be doing a lot of field work
Mhm.
And that excited me. But of course, as a new engineer, you would have to start at the bottom of the ladder. And that meant doing admin work, office work, being in the office the whole day. And it was not really very satisfying for me. So after 5 years of working in the corporate world, I decided to explore my options and become a freelancer. And from there, I experienced the freedom of working from home, or I don't, I didn't call it working from home that
Mhm.
back then. It's really like having more control of what I can do every day.
Mhm.
So that was the time that I discovered how to uh, navigate the world of being someone, a freelancer,
Mhm.
someone who is his or her own boss. So 2003 ngayon is 2022. So how ano 19 years of working not in an office. Yun na lang, no? Kasi
Mhm.
I rarely work from home. Because back then I would work in a coffee shop, I would
Mhm.
work in a co-working space, and that's part of the fun of not being in the corporate world and not having to work in an office. Yeah.
Yes, flexibility. Yes. And during that time kasi po, parang naalala ko, hindi naman work from home yung tawag natin dito, 'di ba?
Mm-mm.
Parang more on freelancing. Tapos lahat VA. Pagka VA ka,
VA.
okay, parang yun na. So, if you're going to start again from scratch, like what are the steps that you will take in order for you to start a work from home business?
Yeah. I can definitely say that I'm not cut out for the office.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to go back in time na after graduation, ang first step ko would be to evaluate my skills. Of course, it's so easy to answer the question now because
Mm-hmm.
I have acquired all the skills. But back then, if I already knew na hindi ako mag-opisina, I would have started with knowing what are my current skills, what are my core competencies, and paano ko siya mamomonetize? How can I monetize the things that I know, the skills that I have? And if ever there's really no skill that I can monetize, where can I learn those skills that I believe I need? So if we go back in time, back then I remember I had some training in writing in high school, and I was actually also a writer. So probably I would first explore being a freelance writer. And during that time also emerging ang new media, ang tawag pa sa social media, no, new
Mm-hmm.
media and digital marketing. So probably I'll be doing freelance writing and trying to network. I guess that's my number two. After assessing your skills, after knowing what skills do you want to focus on, the second step that I would take is to find the network, find groups. Probably back in 2005, it's gonna be forums, online forums,
Mm-hmm.
and mailing list. Join those mailing lists, network with people, because one of the things that I've always believed in is that opportunities are connected to people. So if
Yes.
you're looking for an opportunity, a job, a project, even a business idea, you would need to connect with someone who will show you the way on how to pursue that opportunity, someone who will introduce you to where you should go to be able to pursue that particular goal that you have. So step one, know yourself, know your skills. Step two, network. And I would say something that I always do would be my last step, which is to ready, fire, aim.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that you can never really be fully ready to pursue anything in life. The What's important is to prepare as much as you can and then do it. Act upon it. I would probably just connect with people, ask them, I'm trying to be a freelance writer. Do you have a job you can outsource to me? And things like that. So just try and act upon it. And then after a project, you do another self-evaluation, try to see how you can improve. So ready, fire, aim. So adjust your sales. And yeah, I guess that's the 3 step that I would take if I were to start all over again, given what I know back then. So for today, of course, it would be easier for me now because I have the network, I have the skills. And if the question was if I would to lose everything that I have now, how I would start again, I would probably do the same stuff, the same steps, but I know that it would be easier for me now. I would not, for example, I would not pursue freelance writing because I have other skills that I think that is more valuable now than what I knew back then. So yeah, that's my answer.
That's really amazing po. Kasi I remember these phrases in my head like again and again, yung ready, fire, aim. I don't know if I got that from you, but I always post that on my feed. Lagi kong nasa utak na you have to jump. You have to be ready in some way, but you always have to jump in order to, be able to reach what you're aiming for. Parang
marami kasing takot.
Yes.
I have a lot of friends, and also one of the inspiration for starting my blog was because a lot of my friends were asking me I started my blog in 2007, and during the time I already have a business. My very first big business was a computer shop. Marami akong classmates, they were asking me na how did I do it from being an employee to being a freelancer and then to being an entrepreneur. And one of the things that I realized is it requires courage. Kailangan malakas yung loob mo.
Yes.
Sabi ko nga, you cannot really fully prepare for anything. There has to be a point where you will decide to jump.
Yes.
And see how it goes. And I also realized na yung worries natin, most of the time they don't really happen.
Yes.
No?
So true.
So there's always something you can do to fix a mistake. I also learned that. And if you don't jump, you miss the opportunity of meeting a future mentor, someone who can help you. So these mentors, they will not appear until you take that first step. So yung worries mo, yung fear mo of what might happen, they are valid, but the situation changes once you make the decision to jump. Once you act, parang daan na madilim, you have a flashlight, you can only see what's in front of you. So it's really scary. You don't know what's beyond that. But just take a small step and you'll see that the road will slowly become clearer. Along the way, you'll meet someone who will help you navigate through the darkness. And I guess that's the thing that's really stopping a lot of people from pursuing work from home or freelancing or even entrepreneurship. They are letting their fear control their decisions. So yeah, kailangan talaga courage. May lakas ng loob.
Yes, that's true po. I talk to a lot of aspiring freelancers or virtual assistants, and they always have this notion that they fear failure. They fear what other people might say about them, and they fear that their clients will just let them go after a project. So things like that. Parang sabi ko nga, wag niyong isipin agad yon. Kasi what you have to do right now is to execute yung mga naplano mo na before. Kasi marami na po silang plans eh. Ito na yung gagawin nila. Parang I was able to help them have like a roadmap. Pero pag nandun na sa execution, parang natatakot na talaga. So,
May self-doubt, no? Second
self-doubt,
thoughts and self-doubt.
self-limiting
Yes.
beliefs, yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's what they have to like overcome. Parang ganun. Speaking of darkness, sir, no? Because
Mm.
as you mentioned earlier that darkness. So, have you ever experienced that darkness or failures in your life, and how were you able to, break through?
Well, yeah, definitely I made a lot of mistakes in each of the phases, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So from being a freelancer and to being an entrepreneur, I made a lot of mistakes, both small and big. And yeah, from what I've experienced, these mistakes, these failures, they're not as bad as you
Mm-hmm.
would usually imagine. For example, one of the realizations that I had when I was freelancing, I eventually went into freelance programming because I had a minor in computer science in college. So I was a systems developer, a freelance system developer. And one of the mistakes that I did was I tried to do everything on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I was brave enough to pursue a big project, and I did not think of creating a team. So I told myself na kaya ko tong gawin, ako lang mag-isa. After a couple of months, I realized na there was really so much work that I need to do. There were so many meetings that I needed to go to because I had a university as a client. I was developing a system for them. So imagine a university, tas I'm just a one-man team. So I realized that I needed a team, but I was stubborn to hire one. You can say na greedy pa ako eh. Kasi sabi ko, if I hire a junior programmer, susweldohan ko pa, hatian
Mm-hmm.
ko pa dun sa kita ko, ganyan. No? So that was a really big mistake. The project took around 9 months to deploy. The original timeline was just 4 months because it was just a fairly simple system. But because it was just me doing it, matagal. Plus, uh, when I deployed it, the university decided na they will just hire employees, an IT team who can maintain it. So, I was really hoping na after ma-deploy, ako na rin yung magme-maintain ng system so that it would be a recurring income for me kasi mayroong retainer, di ba? But
Mm-hmm.
that didn't happen. So, that one project was really what got me thinking na how can I improve? I didn't want that experience to happen again. So that's when I became more open to creating a team. I was so used to working alone, but I think that's one of the mistakes that I had to learn to realize na sabi nga nila, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with a team.
Oh,
So
I love that.
our my progress as a freelancer, the projects that I can take on, it might slow me down if I create a team, but definitely me and my team will be able to go far once we are able to learn to synergize, learn how we can all help each other. So that was actually one of the businesses that I was able to put up on. I created a software development, not really a company, but I call it a company, a software development business. And we were 5 freelance programmers who decided to team up, work together. And yeah, we were able to deploy several systems in big and small companies. until we decide. Well, actually, a couple of us decided that they'll migrate to another country. So that's when we decided to stop the business. And that experience led me to the path of entrepreneurship. So of course, as an entrepreneur, mayroon ding darkness because
Yes.
it's also a different world. They say na ang employee iba ang mindset sa entrepreneur. I agree, And it's also the same. Yung mindset ng freelancer is different from an employee, and a freelancer mindset is also a different from an entrepreneurial mindset. One of the things that I realized several years ago, when I talk to foreigner freelancers, they say na, this is my freelance business. Pero pag Filipino ang kausap mo, they say na, I'm a freelancer. Ito yung freelance venture ko, or this is my, parang they don't really refer to what they're doing as a business.
Yes.
They have the mindset that I'm doing this on my own, racket, sideline ko mag-isa. Unlike yung mga nakausap ko na mga foreigners, they always thinking big na I have a freelancer agency, I have a freelance business. So that was one of the things that I needed to also shift on my mindset when I started to explore entrepreneurship. So apart from the usual pursuing bad business ideas, na naging failure ko, I believe each of the businesses that I put up was able to teach me something on how to become a better entrepreneur. Siguro the earliest lessons that I realized is that there's a certain idea na if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, parang you are your own boss, diba? But I soon realized na, oo nga, wala kang boss, but your customers become your boss when you're running your own business. So there's no place for ego in entrepreneurship. You have to be able to give or provide value to your customers. So that's something that I learned when I was transitioning from being a freelancer to an entrepreneur. As a freelancer, what I was just thinking is I need to do a good job. I need to deliver what I promised to the client, etc. But that changes a bit when you think like an entrepreneur. From doing a good job, it changes to being able to provide great value to your clients, to your customers. So that's one of the early lessons that I learned from being an entrepreneur. And there are a lot of failures along the way. And it's already a cliche, diba? Na failure is part of success. I've heard about that as early as college, but I didn't really understand what it meant until I experienced it myself. And the mere fact that people still say that failure is part of success, failure is what will give you the lessons to succeed, etc. So for those who are aspiring to become a freelancer, to become an entrepreneur, it helps to always remember that, because once you experience failure, it's one of the things that will help you get back up. No? So a failure is just a phase. What's important is your will to get back up and try again. That's what I believe.
Yes, that is so true.